everybody. Welcome back to another Raw Read pop-up. Yes, I am popping up. Why? Because we have something to talk about. We got something to chit-chat about. We got something to kiki about. We got something to lean in and be messy about. Let me tell you, these internet streets are hot. They are. And the squatties are all aflutter. And why? You want to know? It's because of this new documentary on Channel 5. Yes. And basically what it's doing is confirming everything that Harry said in Spare. I believe this is their way of I don't know how to put it, but they know, well, I'll say it this way. I think they're afraid of a movie about Spare. Now, this is just my theory. I hadn't heard anybody else talk about it, but this is what popped up in my head. Why are they doing this? Now, we all know that all those flying monkeys over there, they really like sitting on television and being arrogant and leaning back in their chairs and crossing their legs and talking about Harry and Meghan and that family over there. But they have literally decided to confirm everything Harry said in his book. And like I said, I'm not surprised by that because I knew Harry was telling the truth. But if I said I had any surprise, it would be that these flying monkeys are actually coming in and co-signing on the fact that Harry told the truth in Spare. That they are absolutely saying that everything that Harry said was true. This is now history. Spare, the Harry and Meghan documentary, the Oprah interview was masterstrokes when it came to Harry and Meghan, because we all know how that palace over there is so good at rewriting history. Well, history has been put in the book as of now, and Harry and Meghan has had their say. And I love it because now the flying monkeys are coming in and absolutely saying amen to everything that has been said. And at the time the Oprah interview was being aired, and at the time the documentary, the Harry and Meghan documentary was being aired, and at the time Spare was released, these flying monkeys did the very same thing over and over and over, and that was to call Harry and Meghan a lie. They're lying. That's all you could hear from Robert Jobson and this Valentine Lowe and all of them. Many featured on this documentary on Channel 5. Now they have changed. They have switched up. Now they're saying, well, yes, what Harry said in Spare is true. What Harry and Meghan said in that documentary is true. And we all knew it the whole time, but they really, really thought that they were going to be able to get away with rewriting history and branding Harry and Meghan as liars. Well, it didn't work out that way because Harry and Meghan supporters and the Sussex squad was out here on these internet streets calling them out, saying what Harry and Meghan are saying is the truth, and supporting and sticking up for this couple. And so now here we are in the very same place we knew we would be. And that is Harry and Meghan being validated. Harry and Meghan's version of what happened has transformed into what happened. The history has been written. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to put this up And then I'm going to play some sound bites from this documentary, and we're going to talk about it. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up, and this particular squatty posted a sound bite that I'm going to play in just a few minutes. And it says, whoever commissioned the Mexit Inside the Sandringham Summit mini documentary on Channel 5. If the goal was to vindicate Harry, you really achieved that. All it's done is confirm to the viewers that Harry's mission never changed. It's always been about protecting his family, but the family didn't see that Meghan was worth protecting. Harry and Meghan was forced out. Exactly. And they had to admit that. And it says the family waited until Meghan's absence to convene this fake summit. The decision had already been made before the summit even started. The late Queen private secretary was a liar, and that indeed the decisions aren't made by the monarch, but by the great men in suits. Y'all saw on the Oprah interview, when Oprah put that question to Harry, she said, the queen, she's the queen. She's the queen of England. She can do whatever she wants to. Did you see how Harry's body language shifted? And he said, well, she's advised. Y'all saw that? And I found that so sus. That is the reason why they feel Harry is more dangerous outside of the institution than in, because he knows that it is really the men in the gray suits. The monarch is a babbling idiot. They take whatever these people say and they do exactly. Charles absolutely cannot tie his shoes. They treat him like a child. And this was documented in that Tom Quinn book, Yes, Ma'am, The Secret Life of the Royal Servants. Yes, the men in the gray suits. Diana spoke of the men in the gray suits and their power, and that is where the power lies. But I digress. It goes on to say, and it has emphasized on how naturally angry William is and how it's looking more likely that Meghan's fake bullying allegations was a retaliation for the allegations that came out on the day of that summit. William was bullying Meghan, which I actually can see it to be true. In my opinion, only a bully can wave a finger in someone's face. Where is the lie? Where is the lie? William wanted to control Meghan. He has been obsessed with Meghan ever since Meghan came to that island nation. Ever since Harry told him that Meghan was his girlfriend and he was serious about her. Yes, William bullied Meghan because he wanted to control her. He wants her. He wants her. And it's because she loves Harry. He has always wanted everything that Harry has had. Everything Harry has ever had in his life, William has wanted to claim it. And that includes Meghan. And because of that, he has been in a tailspin ever since this relationship started. He has. And he just cannot hide the fact that he is totally and completely just outdone, that Harry chose someone like Meghan, who is more intelligent than Kate, more beautiful than Kate, more capable than Kate. I mean, Harry outdone him in the wife department, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and he has not had any peace since then. Let's not forget, Harry said that Kate and William was a fan of the television show Suits, and William was especially a fan of Meghan. And then when they found out that Harry had secured a woman like Meghan, and when they really start getting a load of her resume, William could not control himself. William is going to eventually self-destruct. I'm saying Harry needs to stay as far away from him as possible because it's something going on with William. And I believe it all stems from his love, him being in love with Meghan. My belief. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty said, I'm literally gobsmacked at what I'm watching. Look how the royal reporters point out how quickly the palace released a statement to say William didn't bully Meghan, and how they are confirming what Harry said, that he didn't agree to the statement, nor did he know anything about it until it was released by the palace, confirming their points of protecting William by lying for him. Yes, yes, yes. And this squatty posted a soundbite that goes along with this comment, and I am going to play it, and when it's finished, we will discuss.
You have to leave this obsession with the media alone, my boy. It's not healthy for you. Harry saw conspiracies everywhere. It was his view that members of the royal family were briefing against him and Meghan to discredit the two of them.
Prince Harry was waiting for his brother William to back him up about the press. He knew that William had been through similar things at the hands of the British press. But he didn't.
William read that morning's edition of the Times, which accuses him of trying to bully Meghan out of the royal family. I read that story, and what that story said was that one of the reasons why Harry and Meghan were leaving was that Harry felt that his brother William had a bullying attitude. It wasn't the only reason. I made that quite clear in the article. And this was from a source who knows Harry well, who I knew spoke with some authority. You've seen what's in the Times. I'm now being accused of bullying even me. Where's that story coming from?
It clearly been planted by a member of Harry and Meghan's team.
It's unacceptable, Harry. This family doesn't do this.
To be accused publicly of being a bully in a national newspaper, it really angered William.
Harold, you're hurting all of us. I trust you. So this is what Harry writes in spare. I wanted to say, we had nothing to do with that story. But imagine how you might feel if we had leaked it. Then you'll know how Meghan and I have felt the last 3 years. This is going to break us apart. Curiously phrased, but I think it's quite clear that he didn't leak it. I, of course, can't comment on the source of the story, but he's saying he didn't leak it, but he's not disagreeing with the sentiment.
Whoever leaked it, Harry had very clearly talked to them, because it was the Harry and Meghan position. And I'm sure that William probably raised an eyebrow to Harry's kind of half denial. I don't imagine he would have believed Harry.
When the story broke this morning, the palace was quick to issue a statement denying the allegations.
The joint statement says, despite clear denials, a false story ran in a UK newspaper. The use of inflammatory language is offensive.
We are seeing two brothers united, certainly in the way that they believe they're being treated by the press, and they will not put up with it. Harry didn't know anything about this statement. He hadn't been asked. It had been put out without his agreement. And it all fed into the narrative that it was all about protecting other members of the family.
The rift was deep, was probably unbridgeable, and there was going to be a lot more drama before this story was over.
Well, there you have it. They had to come across with the truth that William had bullied Meghan. And he did have a bullying attitude, even though they tried to dance around it. But everybody know that William is a bully. He is. And he wanted to control Meghan. He wanted to intimidate her. He wanted her to be afraid of him. But he did not want her to think harshly of him because he is so conflicted when it comes to Meghan. He absolutely has all this passion that's balled up inside of him. He absolutely hates the fact that Harry found someone better than what he married, but he's also very passionately, I believe, in love with Meghan. I do. I believe William is just a walking, talking contrast of a human being. Because we all know that Jason is over there with his Mary Tyler Moore flip in the back. He's over there lurking around too. And we are giving out their relationship the side eye as well. So I'm telling you, William is a complicated character. But most of all, he is a character who has always wanted what Harry had. And he did all of this. He did every bit of this. And it has blown up in his face. These flying monkeys had to admit that what Harry said in Spare was absolutely true. That the palace was willing to protect William with a lie and not willing to protect Harry and Meghan with the truth. And there you have it. This is what Harry and Meghan was dealing with. And it comes out slowly but surely. The truth will bubble to the surface. And I must say, I love it. I love it. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this is a repost. This squatty reposted a post from Not My King. And it says, was Harry stitched up? He absolutely was. And what he's talking about is when Harry went there to Sandringham with his 3 proposals. And he got there and found out it was just one on the table, and how the Queen's secretary lied about the printers. So this squatty came in and reposted that and said, we know they set him up from the beginning. So I'm going to play the soundbite and then we'll talk on the other side.
Harry is determined to see if there has been a conspiracy against him. In the summit, the Queen's private secretary had told Harry that the reason for printing a draft of just one option is that none of the printers at Sandringham are working. Harry wants to find out if this is true.
As he gets closer to the room, he hears a printer working. Hello, is that working?
Yes, Your Highness.
You're saying that's not working.
That is indestructible, sir.
You've been stitched up. The jig was up. The decisions have been made before the meeting ever really started.
That would have just confirmed what his fears, really. And they'd already decided what the outcome was going to be, and that it was going to be presented to the public, and he had no say.
And there you have it. What Harry and Meghan said has always been true. That they didn't quit the royal family. they were bullied out. It was decided that they were out and they wanted to teach them a lesson. Charles and William stripped them of their security, left them out to the wolves, and really thought that this would humble them. They would be able to firmly have their feet on Harry and Meghan's necks, that they had no other choice. They underestimated Harry, but most of all, they underestimated Meghan. And when Harry and Meghan took the highway, embraced the highway, survived, and thrived, they couldn't believe it. And then William and Charles systematically went back on everything that was agreed on at the Sandringham summit. They took Harry and Meghan's security. Something they knew Harry valued more than anything was the safety of his family. But they took it. They took it. And they unleashed a 12-month assault on this couple. They threw everything at them, including the kitchen sink. They did that because they wanted to humble them. They wanted to control them. They wanted their feet firmly on their necks. But when Harry and Meghan absolutely showed them their butt to kiss and showed them that they were going to survive and thrive, it only got meaner. This smear campaign, you can see the progression of it. It has only gotten nastier. But one thing has happened. One thing has happened. That is Harry and Meghan's version of what has happened is the truth. It has been proven to be the truth. And now it's in the history books. I don't want to hear anything else about how Harry is somehow a traitor or somehow just abandoned his country. No, he never did. Harry said on that BBC interview and said he has always loved his country. My God, he put his life on the line for his country, but yet and still, they wanted to try to paint him as someone who did not want to do his duty. Harry has always wanted to do his duty to the crown, to his grandmother, but he was not allowed because Meghan was too good. She was too good. She absolutely showed William and Kate up for the mediocres that they were, and they just could not take that without having full control over them and breaking them, just breaking them down. Yes, but they were just unable to close the deal, as they have not been able to do to this day. This is what all of this was about. And even though, we all knew what the truth was, it is good to have it out there and validate it. I don't want to hear nothing else about the Queen didn't know. I don't want to hear anything else about how Harry just left his country. He don't deserve any kind of security because he chose to leave the royal family. Harry ain't chose to leave nothing. They made him go. They made him go. And then the Queen's secretary lying like that about those printers. But Harry, being Harry, made sure he found out exactly what was going on there. Oh, I love it, y'all. I love it. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty said this. First, the royal family tried to stop the wedding. Then they allowed the press to viciously attack a pregnant woman because it benefited them. And I think it was also their plan to run her off. They did not want Meghan to have that baby. We all saw how they were chasing her around New York City. And we as squatties at the time, Tina and Michelle at the time, said this was a ploy they believed to absolutely make Meghan lose Archie. And I believe every word that they were saying at the time, and I believe it today. They did not want Archie to breathe, take a breath in this world. They didn't want, if they didn't want the wedding, they didn't want the child. And that is the reason why Charles has behaved in the manner that he has behaved toward these two grandchildren. So they can miss me with anything that comes out of Kensington Palace or Buckingham Palace, because they have proven themselves to be a pack of vicious liars. I'm just saying. And then it goes on to say, then they refused to allow the same woman to seek treatment for unaliving ideations. Then they refused to believe that Harry would actually leave with Meghan. These men in gray suits have so much power, but they have no wisdom. Because if they had it, they would have been able to understand the asset of Harry and Meghan. I mean, can you imagine getting paid for poor advice? I mean, since as a squatty, I have been paying attention to what's been coming out of Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace, and it is amateur hour over there. Like this, they were wrong at every turn. And that's all I can say to that. But thank God they were, because Harry and Meghan is away from there, and they don't have to have anything to do with them. And if they are wise, as I think they are, they never will. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this is a repost of Not My King's comment about it being a stitch up for Harry. This particular squatter said this: the fact that they took the excerpts from Spare and are now talking about it as if it's true boiled my blood. For years they claimed Harry lied, but now it's, yep, they stitched Harry up. The decision was made. A-holes. Exactly. But nothing new to you if you're a squatty. We already knew all of this. We knew it. But like I said, it's good to get validation. But at the end of the day, we already knew this. This is something we've been talking about and talking about and talking about. And all I can say, in your face, the Rangers, even them, they was falling for the okie doke. These people on these panels talking about Harry was lying. And now they have to admit, no, he wasn't. And this particular squatty came up under that post for Not My King and said this: yes, he was. He was stitched up. That disgraceful family and their sycophantic men in gray suits have been throwing Harry under the bus, using him as a scapegoat for years. He's the only decent one to come from that family. Where it's a lie. Harry is the only royal of blood that has come from that family, is a decent human being. All the other decent human beings that has come from that family has been people who married in. But royals of the blood, Harry is the only one that I know of. We forgot. Wait a minute. Let me bag that thing up. It's another good one. And he also was the Duke of Sussex. And he was mistreated just like Harry was mistreated. The original Duke of Sussex was so close in comparison to Harry. They treated him the same way. Did not want to accept the woman he loved. That's why Meghan is the first Duchess of Sussex, because the woman that he loved was unaccepted. And so she never could be the Duchess of Sussex. And he believed in equal rights. He was a lot like Harry. I'm going to have to do a pop-up or something about the original Duke of Sussex, because he was extraordinary as well. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty said this: friendly reminder to the royalists and the random trolls that Prince Harry is the first child of a monarch and the only grandchild of Queen Elizabeth that does not have access to a home in a royal property. King Charles is called King Charles the Cruel for a reason. Where is the lie? Something to think about, isn't it? I'm just saying. Now, all of this is coming out of this documentary on Channel 5 called Megxit, inside of the Sandringham Summit mini documentary. And I'm sure it's going to be on YouTube really, really soon. And I must say, I might actually watch this one. But being a squatty, we already know. We already have known this for so long. So it's just a rehash of a rehash for us. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in a little while. Bye.